Fear the Hive 1155, episode 1-3. What's going on?
Wait, is it episode 13 or episode 12?
13.
Oh, Dominique.
I didn't get a chance to change the banner before you saw it.
So, Dominique.
Yeah, that's what happened was, I thought you had it right. And so,
it's going to be 13 from here on out. There you go.
Yeah, it'd be 13. It's 13.
In case you didn't know, like, we try to track our episodes. And sometimes we forget what episode we're on because we've been doing this for... How long have we been doing this? It's like a year and a half
70
now.
weeks.
Yeah, it's been almost a year and a half. Almost a year and a half.
60, 70 episodes. You know what? Yeah. Let me look at the YouTube channel.
Like 70 episodes, and I was going to ask you about that. We talked about that off air. It's been like 70 episodes, and we took like a Christmas break. Yeah, we taking a couple breaks. So, but yeah, welcome to 1155 Fear the Hive, the podcast. Glad to have you on.
Yes, happy to be here. 87 videos. Wow.
87 videos. That's pretty dope. If you guys are watching, make sure to let us know. Put a comment in the chat room. We will try our best to interact with you. Like we might laugh at you, we might laugh with you, we might laugh at ourselves. Either way, it's all good. Jason is not here with us, the third man in our Three Musketeers. He is at Disney for the second time in less than 12 months.
That's
Yes. He is exactly what you think he is, a man that.
No wonder he pulled all those doubles.
I'm saying.
I mean, spending money.
The only man I know that will pull doubles for 3 weeks straight and they'll be like, all right, I'm going to Disney for a week and a half. God damn, Jason.
Yeah. I mean, at that point, when you pull that many doubles, you can't deny me.
You can't deny me. I'm going to Epcot. I'm getting the fast pass. I'm on it. So yeah, big shout out to Jason. We miss you, Big J.
Yeah, man. Do it up for us while we slum it up.
Slumming it up. Anyhow. Okay. So normally we start off with like some benign things, right?
Nah.
But we got to start. We got to start with Marvin Sapp. We have to start with the Marvin Sapp.
Oh, absolutely.
Have to start with the Marvin Sapp. Would you? You know what? I'm gonna let you go because I have an initial reaction, and then I have a calibrated response. What was your initial reaction?
So I've never been in those kinds of services, so I can't necessarily say yay or nay. I kind of reserve judgment. Like, this is the first time, even in my church, I've actually had some position of leadership, I guess. I do the media. I'm on the media team, and so I produce all of the episodes and I film it all. And so, if you guys are looking for a church home, you can attend virtually Resemble Church on YouTube.
He'll put the link in the description.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so if you guys are looking for a good church home, Apostle Taiwan Gamble, young dude, knows the stuff, definitely ordained. He's good. And yeah, so I've never been in a service like that where, you're like, close the doors. Like, and I was telling Steve before we got on that was probably the nicest way I've ever seen somebody say that. Because I've been in churches where they've told the ushers to do something, and it's like, because it's a military community, so they said it was like very emphatic and very forceful. It's like, yo, do this like right now. I'm not playing. I just thought he said it very nicely. I didn't get a chance to watch his explanation of his justification of it, but yeah, that's definitely something on my to-do list for tonight before I go to bed. But Steve, if you could impart some wisdom into the situation.
Had a conversation with a good friend Kev earlier today about it. And since I talked with Kev, I thought about a couple things. Okay. So here's the first thing. My initial reaction, completely honest, my initial reaction was only $20.
Well, I mean, he said there was thousands of people there.
So... Whoa. Hold on. Okay. Let me click. Only $20. And I say that because those that know that at a conference of that size, a $20 offering is like 25 cents, bro.
True.
Anybody that was mad at $20 needs a hobby. Let's start there.
And it made me go from weeks behind.
Right.
Yeah, I don't care whether the doors were closed or open. I don't care whether they was walking or passing the basket. Y'all mad because he asked for $20?
Yeah.
Then you are woefully out of your depth in understanding church culture and church history.
Black
That's number one.
Church culture.
That's number one. Now, if I am correct, this is not a general church conference. This is a church conference made primarily of leadership.
Right. Exactly.
Okay. If this is a leadership church conference and you've never been in church leadership, fellowship leadership, or denominational leadership, and you mad, you might want to take a seat because you have no frame of reference to understand. Now, if you're asking questions, you're more than entitled to ask questions.
Mm-hmm.
More than entitled to try to figure out what's going on, because without any knowledge, this seems like a robbery.
In biblical days,
right? To the unchurched, wait a minute, you won't let me out till I give you $20? It seems like a robbery.
Right? You will. I did not say money.
But the truth of it is,
currency.
No matter how this shakes out, if this is a church leadership conference, and he's only asking for $20,
and this is simple. I'm not going to challenge
that is what it is.
The way
yeah.
Now, here goes the bigger context of it, right?
Under the sound of my voice,
whether you know it or not,
can do what I'm about to.
And I'm not talking about you, Dominique. I'm just talking about in general.
This is simple.
You know, the church does things.
Giving what I'm about to challenge.
And to do those things, the church needs money.
True.
1,000 people.
And if you're a part of the church needs a portion of your money.
$20,000.
You want to see churches do what everybody complains that churches aren't doing? Guess what? It's going to need people giving to get it done.
Yes.
The church clothe the naked, they're going to need your tithes and offerings. You want to see them feed the hungry, they're going to need your tithes and offerings. You want to see them sending kids to school like they used to do back in the day, which many of them still do, you need your tithes and offerings. You want to see them build another facility, you need your tithes and offerings. Wait for it, and they need it on a consistent basis.
Correct.
Point blank period. That's just what it is.
Agreed.
Close the doors.
If he's asking for $20,
close the doors
to cover the expense of the conference. Here's what unchurched people don't know. If that is indeed a pastoral leadership,
1,000 of you tonight, and those that are watching,
people that are there more likely than not,
watching online,
or if it's a part within their fellowship, were sent with money for this offering.
Right? No, yeah.
So, considering all of that,
now everyone up here,
I want to know where the outrage is.
Seated, but I need everyone standing up here with us, with me, to plant a seed of $100.
I want to know where the outrage is.
It costs to sit up here.
That is what it is.
Y'all start moving.
Right?
Y'all bring it right now. Come. Even if
just as another frame of reference, I've been an usher all my life. And I've been a conference usher at conferences. And I've been security at conferences. A part of the team that makes sure that the offering gets from point A to point B, right? A part of the team that watches it get assembled up front, taken to the back, counted, and then given to the armed guard. Okay, and a part of those teams. And I said all that to say, again, if you don't have any of that experience and you just mad because he said lock the doors, then you don't understand how easy it is for someone to get robbed of $40,000 in cash.
It's true.
Like there are lots of things to consider here, aside from the fact that he said close the doors, right? Aside from the fact that he asked for 20,000 people to give, 2,000 people to give $20, right? There are lots of things to consider. So people want to be mad and all that good stuff. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, you can be mad as long as you giving at your church. You ain't giving at your church and you don't go to his church, you got about 5 minutes to be mad. Maybe 10. No, I'm serious. Like, who has time to be mad at somebody else's church, one that you don't go to and one that you don't plan to attend, over what they're asking people to give at a meeting that you don't understand and have never been to, over an amount that is inconsequential to those who actually go to these kind of conferences. I mean, y'all can be mad if you want to, but I'm gonna tell you, you can take all that anger, you can stuff it in a ball, you can take a tennis racket, and you can serve it towards Serena Williams and watch what she does with it. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
Oh shoot!
You know what I mean?
Agreed.
So
like I said, I've never been in one of those conferences or anything like that. But at the same time, I don't knock it, because I mean, if you look at like what's that church down in Texas? Joel Osteen.
Lakewood. Mm-hmm.
Remember the situation where the Houston was having a storm, and they wouldn't necessarily open the church,
and
it's like, and I'm sure that church has more than enough money coming in to.
Well, hold on. Here we go. Because I was one of the, okay. Before we get off of Marvin Sapp.
Yeah.
Like I said what I said about how people feel about what he did, but let me also say this: the memes are funny. The memes are hilarious. Memes are absolutely hilarious. Now, as far as Joel Osteen and Lakewood, I get what it looked like, but unless you are intimately familiar with the insurance it takes to cover a church building, then ain't a whole lot I'm about to listen to people talk about whether or not he should have opened up his building to people at the flood, during the flood, right? I have some beef with the way that it was presented, but unless you paid a church insurance bill and knows how much it costs to insure a building that's worth $250 million, I'm not sure if I want to hear you talk about whether or not he was right or wrong to open up that portion of the church during a flood. I don't. And if you haven't done enough looking and Googling to figure out whether or not Lakewood actually puts his money where its mouth is and spends money in its community to make it better. If you don't know those two things, not sure I want to hear your opinion about whether or not church should have been open. Okay. That's all I'm saying. And I'm saying that as someone who has done both of those, who's opened a church building for people that are homeless, who has fed the hungry, who has clothed the naked, who has found living places for people that were living on the street. Okay. Someone, and who has paid church insurance for different activities and functions, right? If you haven't done all of that, I'm not inclined to listen to your opinion about it. You may certainly have it. I may certainly call it dumb if it doesn't take those things into account. So just like people that say the church don't never do nothing. Yeah, okay. The church never tells you about the people whose lights it keeps on, or the people who it helps from being evicted, or the furniture that it buys for people that just had enough money to get an apartment or to get a home, or the way that it vouches for people that have been arrested and that have been arraigned and trying to get bail. Like, church don't never talk about none of that stuff. But everybody's steady talking about what the church has not done, while they're not contributing to any church that is doing any of those kinds of things. Oh, wait, this was not supposed to be a soapbox moment, but it is a soapbox moment because, like, I got PTSD from people talking about what the church ain't doing, and you ain't giving to no church that's doing exactly what you're saying the church needs to do.
Right.
Yeah. Yes, there's a difference between God's church and man's church. And here's the thing: at the intersection of God's church and man's church, there are people that are trying to do right, and there's some people that are trying to do wrong. If you ain't supporting the people that are trying to do right, ain't a whole lot I got for you on that one. Okay.
Great.
But yeah. So Marvin never would have made it with them doors closed. All those memes are hilarious. Okay. All those memes are hilarious. And not for nothing, I don't think he should apologize. Now, I know why he apologized, because he's a national recording artist, right, and he has to apologize. But aside from that, I'd have been like, y'all can stay mad. I mean, either you're gonna listen, either the music's hot or not, either you're gonna listen to it or not. But
right,
I'm not about to go out of my way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
yeah, like I said, I didn't bother me one bit. I mean, I wasn't there. I wasn't in the service. I don't know what they were talking about. I don't know what brought that up. You know, I didn't know don't know the mood of the service. So, hey,
yeah, it was at the end of service. They were doing what they needed to do. It was either the last night or the second to the last night, which is raising funds to cover the service. Everybody knows how much service costs. Everybody knows that you're gonna have to raise funds. This offering is not catching anybody off guard. Nobody. You know what I mean? Except for the people. And here's another thing. Social media and live streaming has allowed people to view things that you formerly had to be in person to view. People are coming to all these conclusions about things that normally you had to be more invested in a thing to get to see and or experience. And normally, if you're that invested in the thing to be in person to see and experience it, then you have a slightly changed and enlightened frame of reference for the thing that you are experiencing. But now people, they can open up their phone and click, and they can look at a clip, or they can look at a service, and they don't have to be invested in it at all. Guess what?
And imagine, like, before church services were televised and streamed, imagine how those services were going in the first place, and nobody ever knew.
Bro, tell me you ain't never been to a black church service in the country without telling me. Like, if you've never been to a Baptist church service where they hold offering open until they meet their goal, then look. Like, there's offering. We're going to pass the plate until we make $300. And you hear somebody in the back, oh, okay. And they pull out $200. Hey, man, offering closed.
You're right.
If you haven't been there.
Oh, shoot.
You know what I mean? Like, I've seen some things. That money. Oh, okay. So my man Angus, that you have a good point, right? The assumption that the money was going into his pocket, that's the secular expectation from something like that. And yeah, you're right. The only problem with that is, explaining the explanation of what he did, his apology, if you will, was the explanation for the secular audience, right? And I'm not even really mad at the secular audience for not knowing. How are they supposed to know? They ain't never been in the situation.
They've never been.
But church people, right? If you just come 4 times a year, Christmas, Mother's Day, Easter, and your birthday, okay, I can get it. But if you've been any time other than that, like, there's this thing called grace that we all don't practice enough. And then I'm not talking to non-church people, right? Because non-church people are not going to understand either way it goes, right? You owe them an explanation, right? So that we're all on the same page. But them understanding it, that's a coin toss. However, people that are supposed to be Christ-like are supposed to be looking to give grace and find understanding. And what you find a lot these days, at least what you read on social media, it's not a lot of grace. It's not a lot of looking for understanding. It's a lot of reactionary, emotional, or looking for what's what I'm looking for here? Looking for an avenue to go viral, right? Like some of the memes. Some of the memes have gone very viral because they're funny. But at any rate,
absolutely.
I said all that to say, man, cut Marvin some slack. Trust me. Marvin, he was just doing. And here's the other thing. Here's what people don't get.
What's that?
It was his job to do what he did. Right? Like, yeah, that's right. It's a lot of finding examples that prove your points or existing beliefs. Like, his job was to do that thing, right? That was his job. So, like, maybe we should try to understand what the constraints were before we deem it a robbery. Like so many people have.
Well, I mean, a lot of people see the video and you just give your initial knee-jerk reaction and, your emotional reaction without understanding the facts.
Here's the funny part. If it were a regular church service and that happened, I'd be with y'all. Robbery. Wait a minute. You offering and you gonna close the doors?
Wait, wasn't it Creflo Dollar not too long ago was saying that the Lord gave him a vision that the church was supposed to buy him a private jet so he can continue doing the Lord's work?
We're not gonna talk about Creflo Dollar. We don't have enough time. We don't have enough time to split those hairs.
But I mean, so the problem is the assumption of the pastors of the church or the leaders of the church. You have examples of like Creflo Dollar versus people who, from what I feel, Marvin Sapp and the church that he was supporting and all those leaders were going to that actually do the work. That's just, they're doing the work. That's not a problem. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yo, here's what I would tell people. Yo, Marvin Sapp don't need your $20. No,
not at all.
You know what I mean? Like,
that man's still getting royalty checks from never would have made it.
Marvin doesn't need he does not need your $20, right? But the conference needed to raise the money to cover its expenses from those that were in leadership who were expected to be able to cover the expenses of that conference, right? And when I had the conversation earlier, and I explained like the ins and outs of that, he was like, "Oh yeah, I see what you're saying now." He had other questions, because I said a couple other things that I'm not gonna say on air, but he's like, "I get it now. That makes a little bit more sense, right?"
Right.
And so, I wish Marvin good luck. I'm praying for him, that this doesn't affect his personal bottom line too much. But
even at that, I think even if it does, God's gonna take care of him. He did his job.
Yeah. And also, if the beat is hot, black folk will keep coming back.
It's true.
Don't worry. You put out a dope song, Marvin, he'll be right back. It's okay. Well, you don't have to worry.
Speaking of Marvin, did you listen to his new EP? It's something about R&B. So he made like an R&B EP.
Okay, so you talking about new music?
Yes.
You're talking about new music, and you're asking me about new music.
I just asked if you heard it,
bro. I think the newest music I've listened to recently, I can't even tell you.
I'm with you. I couldn't tell you myself. Like,
oh no, the newest song I listened to, that LaMelo Ball song. My son got in the car. He's like, "Yo, Dad, Melo got a song," and I was like,
"Carmelo?"
So he was like, "Yo, you gotta listen to it. You gotta give me the aux. First of all, speak English. Oh, you want this chord so you can play the song? Bet money." So I gave him the chord, and I was like,
I had him spell it.
I was like, man, this is Cash Money. I know Cash Money when I hear it. This ain't nothing new. He was like, "Yo, it's so good." I was like, "It's such a copy.
It's stolen.
It's stolen. The whole flow is stolen. The whole sound is stolen." I mean, I can't be mad because he got a deal out of it.
Yeah.
But let's be real. That entire flow is 25 years old, buddy.
I'm just glad he got something out of his NBA career.
You and me both.
Or lack thereof. One of the two. So it is what it is.
You and me both. Anyhow, all right. So yeah, where you want to go? Where you want to go?
Who you got on your shout-outs list?
Man, first of all, let's shout out to Cory Booker. Okay. Senator Cory Booker has been doing for the last 24 hours. I'm not sure if he's stopped now, but he's been doing for the last 24 hours what we've been doing for the last 25 minutes. He's been talking on the floor of Congress to filibuster. Now, most people go, what did he filibuster? Did he filibuster a bill? He did not filibuster a bill. He was filibustering an ideology and taking the time and the pulpit that comes with using the filibuster, even in the midst of not having a bill, to, in long form prose, talk about what's at stake happening in America. And he did it for like 24 hours. He wrapped it up, right? And his goal was to beat Strom Thurmond's record. Now, if you know anything about Strom Thurmond, he was like the last out and out racist senator, right? Like, He's not the last racist. He's the last out and out racist senator. And apparently, I think it was the Voting Rights Act, or was it the Civil Rights Act that he tried to filibuster.
Okay.
And he talked for 23 and a half hours or 23 some odd hours. Yes.
Oh
and
my
God. It was a record. It has been a long-standing record. He's been there for 25, 30 years. It's been a long-standing record, right? And Cory Booker, Senator Cory Booker, beat that. And he did it while talking about what was at stake for America while Trump is doing what he's doing. So big shout out to Cory.
I applaud him for that, because I mean, my thing is, can you imagine being some of the other representatives and you're just like, is he filibustering? He's filibustering. All right, hey, I'm going to go get lunch. You ready to go get lunch? And then coming back and the man's still talking, like, or I don't know if they go home or like to their apartment or whatever dormitory that they live in, and then come back and he's still talking.
And keep in mind, he did receive questions from the gallery, like from his fellow senators, like the way that
you have to use the bathroom.
Okay, I'm glad you asked. So in the middle of the filibuster, the person that has the floor can be asked questions, okay, to clarify about what they're talking about. That's a part of the rules.
Okay.
Now, if you've got someone that's on your side that's willing to ask a very long-winded question,
right,
then you can sit down.
I gotcha. Okay.
You can rest. You can take a sip. You can eat a bite of food. Like, you can do some things, right? And so he had a couple of people ask him questions. I saw a question that Senator Schumer asked him. I saw that earlier today, and it gave him an opportunity to take a breather, although he didn't go anywhere, but it gave him an opportunity to take a breather.
Right.
And so I was like, you got to respect it. I know as a whole, we're looking for leadership, right? On the Democratic side, someone that has vision, someone that has a plan, someone that will speak out against injustices as a whole from a leadership perspective. And whereas Cory Booker is not the leader, in this moment, he's functioning as a leader that is willing to put his career on the line and explain in long form the dangers of what Trump is doing as a president.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So
nice.
Yeah.
Hey, big shout out to Cory Booker, man.
Big shout out.
The only shout out I got is Haley Van Lith.
Haley.
3 different teams.
3 different
Elite
teams, Elite 8. Girl cooking.
That's an accomplishment. Whether they win or not, but you were on either, and you can frame this however you want. You were on 3 teams that went to Elite 8, or you helped get those teams to Elite 8.
Now, she was a starter on all the teams.
And this is what I'm going to say. If you say, "Oh, she just happened to do it," there's no way you could just happen to do that. You'd have to be like extremely clairvoyant to even know that they're going to get to the Elite 8. But I mean, the fact that she was on those teams proves that she is able to bring your team, raise the level of competition of that team to at least Elite 8 level.
Yeah. So Haley, like in college basketball, their names, Haley Van Lith is one of them, right? Juju Watkins is one of them. Paige Bueckers is another one, right?
Keone McMiller, up and coming. Malaysia Fulwiley.
Malaysia Full. Yes. And hopefully Malaysia gets the opportunity to play in the championship game so that the nation will know who she is, and not just the people that follow South Carolina basketball or that follow the NCAA tournament after the first, 32 teams are eliminated.
Say what you want. I guarantee you, Malaysia Fulwiley is probably the best guard in the NCAA.
You think she's better than Juju?
Skill-wise.
Again, you think she's better than Juju?
Malaysia's more skilled.
Okay.
And she has to be, because she does not have the height factor. She's got like...
Yeah, I was going to say, I'll buy that because Juju's like 6 feet, dude.
Yeah.
All this crap.
And not to say that it's easy for Juju to do it. It's just Malaysia has to be more skilled because Malaysia's like 5'9", 5'10" maybe. Yeah.
I don't think she's 5. I don't think she's 5'9". I think she's close to 5'7". She looks like she's closer to 5'7" when she's on the court with the other girls. So with the other women. So, but big shout out to Paige Bueckers. Paige Bueckers is who everyone thought Caitlin Clark was.
Exactly.
Right.
I mean, not to take anything away from Caitlin Clark because she did her thing, but Paige Bueckers is, that statement is correct. That's who you thought Caitlin Clark was. Paige Bueckers is that girl.
Paige, she's a hooper. She plays for UConn. She don't lose a lot. She is a leader, right? And she's down for the cause, right? Apparently, one of her parents remarried an African American person. I think her dad married a black woman. I think. Don't quote me on that. And so her perspective on a lot of things is more nuanced, right? And so her interactions are different, which I believe is one of the reasons why she's not getting the exposure. Also, Paige doesn't have a black villain that she is against, right? Like they were able to make Caitlin and Angel Reese out to be.
Right.
So she's not getting the exposure. But as far as skill, as far as winning, as far as taking your team far in the NCAA tournament, she fits the bill completely.
Also, Paige Bueckers, and because of I think that interaction, but I think she's just a good person to in general. One of two things. She's kind of like Sun Kang from Fast and Furious, the dude that played Han. His dad's black, so that's very interesting because I mean you see him, he's like a real cool dude. Secondly, Paige Bueckers, one of the teammates on the UConn team was observing Ramadan, and one of the things that she did, she committed to helping that teammate by making sure that she cooked breakfast for her every morning.
Yo, okay, so can we stop here? Big shout out to our Muslim brothers and sisters, right? Aside from the differences of belief, right? They just finished Ramadan, right? Eid Fiyatra. If I said it correctly, if I didn't, I do apologize. Right? They just celebrated. This is the third day of their 3-day celebration to celebrate the ending of Ramadan, the fast that is Ramadan, right? The time during the year where they do not eat from sun up to sundown. They don't eat, they don't drink unless it's medically necessary.
Right.
It is a very like I have a lot of respect for them for that and the discipline that they show in their belief. And I think that maybe if some of us showed more discipline, like you know what, we're not going to talk about that, but much respect to them. Big shout out to them.
I mean, on that note, my wife being a teacher, she used to say that around this time they don't give like a lot of tests or quizzes to help accommodate people who's observing Ramadan.
Yeah,
and which is pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, pardon me. As much as we talk about freedom of religion in America, what we don't talk about nearly enough is recognition for other religions and how they exercise their religion and what it means, right? Like I've started to it was almost 10 years ago, I think it was a player that played for the Minnesota Vikings that was observing he wasn't observing Ramadan, he was observing the festival they have in the fall, right? The preparations that they have in the fall. I thought I had it written down, I don't. But he was saying how like he was a football player and he played football while he was fasting from sun up to sundown. It was absolutely astonishing. I was like, that's pretty cool. But
and during this time of year, there's been a few NCAA men's basketball players that have been doing the same thing. I remember some stories, I think either last year, year before last, and most of those kids that are observing Ramadan. And I'm not saying that it's a correlation there, but like some of them that they highlighted, they were really good basketball players. Like they were, putting up, they were making a very big impact. Yeah, they were making a very big impact without eating. I mean, of course, they had to drink water. They had to stay hydrated because they're exerting so much energy. But I mean, the commitment, the drive, just the hard nose that you have to have in order to the discipline that you have to carry that out is absolutely astonishing.
It's inspiring. Who knew we would go from Creflo Dollar to Ramadan?
Hey, That's just the Fear the Hot magic kind of takes a turn, you know.
I got to ask you a question, Dominique.
What's that?
Do Cybertrucks have concrete rims?
Not that I know of. Why?
Because somebody sent me a clip of a Cybertruck that had broken its wheels.
Oh,
like the screws that hold the wheels in place on the truck had broken around the screws.
Oh,
and the rim came off. And I was like, he was like, it looks like it's concrete. And I was like, that's not how that looks like concrete. I wonder what they're using for these wheels. Like concrete doesn't make any sense, but some kind of composite that clearly is not truck worthy.
Well, not truck worthy or not. It can't stand up to the torque that the vehicle's putting out.
Every day, I'm more and more convinced that building a truck was much harder than Elon ever thought it was.
Oh, for sure. For sure. I mean, when you're talking about, like, my car weighs 6,000 pounds, and that's heavy.
Sick.
Yeah.
My Cadillac weighs 6,000 pounds. Oh, that's right. I forgot the battery.
Yeah, the battery is. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, I'm sorry. 3,500 pounds.
Oh man, that ain't nothing.
Wait, no, mine's 4,000. Sorry. They have the difference between the standard range and long range, but I mean that also tells you it's a 500-pound difference between the batteries.
Yeah, that's.
And so I mean, one, you got the battery under the Cybertruck, which is a massive battery, and then you have the torque that it's putting out. I mean, I'm not giving it any excuse, but absolutely, if you're going to make something like that, it has to be able to withstand that kind of torture. And especially now you're talking about either going from cold to hot, hot to cold, and the atmospheric changes and things of that nature. Those things have to be accounted for.
I'm just saying, if you take a survey of truck culture, you should have known that those wheels were not going to hold up. That's all I'm saying. Like, I don't know anything about truck culture that people don't tell me. But from what I've gathered, they do stuff with their trucks that requires a functioning truck. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, absolutely.
Like stuff you wouldn't do with a lesser powered vehicle, right? Or a vehicle that's not durable enough to. Yeah, I saw that. I was like, that's interesting. I don't know how you're going to explain that to your insurance company. And then I remembered there are insurance companies that are dropping Cybertrucks because they're too expensive to cover. And I was like, wow, talk about a double whammy.
That's a problem.
That's a big problem.
I actually have I'm actually curious as to what this does to the electric vehicle, the EV truck market. Because if you won't cover a Cybertruck, don't tell me you're going to cover a Rivian.
Well,
okay. Because I mean, the rate of repair is about the same. The cost of repair is about the same.
It may be. It may be. I can agree that is likely the case. The difference being insurance doesn't particularly care. They don't.
It's true.
Like when they've decided that something is too expensive to cover, it's really hard to convince them otherwise. And because of the damage that's been, it's kind of like when rates went up. If you had a Honda, right, or if you had a Hyundai, or if you had, X car, like I've seen, I had my rates go up when I had a Honda. I had my rates go up when I had a Hyundai. Like I had my rates go up when Cadillac changed their body style. Like when insurance decides that this is the reason for the rate going up, or we can't cover you for this reason, there's not much you can do about it except for find another insurance company.
It's true.
You know what I mean? Like you're not fighting that battle to win.
No, not at all.
So,
yeah. By the way, the F-150 weighs 6,800 pounds. The Cybertruck weighs, depending on which model you get, either 6,600 or 6,900 pounds. And the Rivian weighs 7,100 pounds.
But it's a F-150. So,
yeah.
There you go.
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, did you see that earthquake that happened?
Hey, man, praying for Myanmar. Real talk,
Yeah.
bro.
Yes. That's crazy. I mean, I have to look, but I think they are in the Ring of Fire, which is notorious for volcano eruptions, tsunamis, and earthquakes because they sit on a fault line. And it's never good when that stuff happens at all. Like I've seen video where people were like in a pool, like in a high rise, and yeah, and they had to hurry up and get out like very quickly.
The infinity pool footage, I saw that. Like I saw it from afar where the water was coming off the edge. And then I saw the security cam where they were, this man and a woman were in the pool, and then the earth started to shake. And they were like, "What do we do?" Try not to die is the answer. Right. Unfortunately,
that's the only thing you can do when Mother Nature starts knocking. It's like, all right.
I'm watching this video going, I know this video was taken in the past, but maybe I should be praying for y'all now because I can't even fathom what that would be like,
to feel this large landmass moving.
To be in a high-rise apartment in an infinity pool while this happened. Yeah. So, but Myanmar's infrastructure is so bad that they're not even. I haven't watched CNN all day, so I don't know what the estimate is on the death toll.
Right.
But I would imagine, considering the state of Myanmar as a country, that's probably going to be in the tens of thousands. Probably going to be in the tens of thousands. Probably somewhere between 10 to 30,000, unfortunately.
Yeah, as of Saturday, it was about 1,600.
1,600. So hopefully, maybe I'm wrong, and I hope that I'm wrong. Yeah. I hope that I'm wrong, right? But
Myanmar.
The
U.S. Geological Survey estimates that the death toll could be about 10K.
And here's the crazy part. Here's the sad part. Well, normally we like to send help, but USAID is severely crippled at the moment.
Yeah, it's kaput. So the German word for it doesn't exist.
So we can't even. We can't even really do what we normally do. So
no. Which when we get to geopolitical affairs, we'll expand upon more on that.
You got a soapbox moment. I can hear in your voice. Okay.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Let me ask you this question, right? Random thought.
Okay.
I got two of them, but random thought. Would you take $1 million right now, or would you flip a coin flip for $1 billion? You either get $1 billion coin flip. Either you get $1 billion or you get nothing, or would you just take $1 million outright?
At $35, at 35 years of age, I need that mill right here, right now. If this was 10 years ago, sure. You know what? Let's see what happens. Nah, I can't. 50-50 is too big of a chance to not.
My man Brad said, "Give me the mill."
Yeah, I mean, it's serious. Like I need for sure. Like, give me the for sure money now. Like I can't.
Hey man. Okay, so here's the thing. A mill ain't what it used to be. Let's start there. I mean, it's still $1 million, but it ain't what it used to be.
Look, for a mill, I know in the back of my mind that at any time I can pay off my mortgage. 2, I can put it into, like a VOO, some ETF where it grows steadily for, 5-6%. I can start a very good retirement and know that that's covered. I don't necessarily have to worry about that too much.
If I took the mill, I'd be gone. I'd be gone. There is a country in Central America that is calling my name with $1 million in hand. No, buddy, deuces. Pew. Right now. Matter of fact, and here's the funny part, I wouldn't even quit my job. I'd keep my job. You want to know why I'd keep my job? Because I got to get everything done that I need to get done before this insurance before this insurance goes kaput.
Yep. Like I said, if you'd have asked me anytime before 28, I'd have been like, let's do the coin flip. I might get $1 billion, might not. At 35, nah, man, I need that mill.
Hey, at 35, right now, I'm looking at the $1 million going, I'll take the coin flip.
Nah, I don't know. I feel And I don't know, maybe that's the reason why I gel with like a lot of older people, because it's just like, I don't know, I feel like I've been through enough myself. It's just like, yeah, I get it, but nah, man, if Lord willing, I see next year, I just hope I just hope to make it. Like, that's it, man. Like, living through so many different events so far, in my lifetime, I'm just like, look, man, I just want to duck off and just be in the cut. Just I don't want any problems with nobody. I just want to chill. I'm good. I am okay.
Hey, okay, so I got a question for you. Follow-up question. All right, so let's say you take the $1 million and I take the coin flip and I hit for $1 billion. Any regrets?
No. Not at all. Because
I love the resolve.
Yeah, nah, not at all. Because one, so I have the standing agreement with some of my old coworkers from my old job.
Oh, the lottery joint.
Yeah, we've said that if any of us hit the lottery, at very least, we will clear out the debt that you have. At very least.
Oh yeah, that's dope. That's dope.
And so that's where if any of us hit, it's like, hey, thank you. Like,
we've been playing this long enough that we need to. Yeah, that's dope, man. That's dope.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was one of my questions. Real quick, do you keep secrets from your wife?
I could get real psychological with that.
I would love the psychology of it, please.
I mean,
a bird in the hand is worth two in the bush, unless you ain't got no bushes. All right, go ahead, Dominique.
It's true. I mean, we all keep some sort of secrets from other people.
Okay.
We don't necessarily tell everything, and that's just, and it's not, and some of it's not even quote unquote a secret. It's just there's no prompt for me to say it yet. There's no reason for me to say it yet. So but no, as far as things that I know, I don't really keep much of anything from my wife. I mean, she's my best friend. She's my coworker at times, because some days I call her a lot. And, she's like, you must be bored. I'm like, yeah, I'm just sitting here. Like, I really need somebody to talk to right now. And I mean, sometimes I call you, Steve, like on my work breaks, it's like, hey, what's up? What's going on? I need water cooler talk right now.
Hey. Okay. So I asked this because I had to consider this, right? Because my wife was on the phone the other day, and she was like, I got to go in another room. And I was like, why? She was like, because I'm on the phone. I was like, okay, right. But it's also because unless you're functioning in an area where you have to keep confidence, right?
Yeah.
Unless I'm keeping confidence,
yeah,
I don't have any secrets. I don't.
Yeah.
My wife has every password, has access to every password I have on every platform I have, on every app that I have. Like there are no secrets, right? Unless I specifically say I'm keeping confidence, or unless I'm acting in that. I'm sorry. Like, what you want me? Who am I? Here's the thing that people don't realize about that whole husband-wife thing. If you're together long enough and you're doing it right, your spouse becomes not just your spouse, but your best friend. So you end up telling them everything.
Look, look, to all my wife's girlfriends and whatnot, I'm sitting there sipping the tea too.
All the tea.
I'm getting it all
the
tea. I'm asking questions too. Like, why'd she do that? She did what?
Man,
that's crazy.
Look, and if you do it right, we be listening to each other's phone conversations, and half the stuff y'all be like, Steve, that was so smart. I'd be like, yeah, she said that. I didn't even say that. I didn't even think of that. I didn't come to that conclusion. That was my analysis.
Right.
That was hers. And half the time, like, I'd listen to her conversation, and I'd be feeding her stuff. Like, I'll send her text messages like, hey, you might want to consider this, or hey, you might want to mention this, right? And they'd be like, oh, girl, you so good. I'd be like, we're great as a team. We're great as a team.
Yeah. Look.
Like, I mean,
that's one of the interesting things about being married. When my wife's on the conversation with her girlfriends, I'd be sitting right there next to her, just like, wow, really?
You go, oh,
man. And then every once in a while, I'll tell my wife, I'm like, hey, you called such and such lately? What's been going on? I need to know.
I'm used to having a helping of tea on this day every day of the week.
Right.
You ain't made that phone call, I'm still gonna need my servant. That's what I'm gonna need. That is what I'm gonna need. So
right.
Yeah. No, I love it though. Like it's one of the like she asked me the other day who was my best friend. I was like, you. She was like, oh, I was like, what you mean, oh, Negro, you know you my best friend. You the one I tell everything to. Everything. Who else am I gonna tell? Who else would understand? Even if I told them, who else would understand? Nobody would understand. So
yeah, I say some off the wall stuff. So yeah, my wife's the only one that gets it. She's just like, why are you like this? I'm like, I don't know,
dude.
But I can't show that to everybody else, you know?
Man, and you got to be out in public with people, you knowing all their business, and you be acting regular. You acting regular. I'd be like, yo, like,
look, I got a select few people that I will actually go out and entertain and just, you know, shoot the breeze and whatnot. Other than that, my wife, she'd be like, so there's this thing that we got to go do. I know you don't want to go. I'm like, thank you for recognizing that, because I don't know what it is. Yeah, it's like I don't know what it is, and I already don't want to go. You know that.
Well, look, when you say that, it makes me want to go though. I'll be like, oh, you said that, you reckon I'll go with you.
Well, I'll be like, yeah, I'll go. I'm not gonna just let you know, I'm probably not gonna like it. So that's why, and I think a few episodes ago we were talking about this. Like, my wife be like, you ready to go? I'm like, what? I've been ready to go. All you had to do is say the word. Like, what's up?
Okay. All right. So a point of joy and a point of anger. You know what's really frustrating about being married?
What's that?
When your wife says, I was waiting on you. You were not waiting on me. You were just in a conversation with 8 other people. You were just in the middle of that conversation and everybody was talking, including you. You were not waiting on me. Okay. I've been sitting over here with the same drink all night trying to get your attention so we can leave here. You were not waiting on me. You were not waiting on me.
It's been times my wife has said, hey, let's go. And then she get caught up with other people. And she look around, she texts me, she's like, babe, where'd you go? I'm like, I'm in the car. What are you talking about?
I'm in the car. What do you mean? Like, we said it was time to go.
You didn't say bye to nobody? I got their number. I'll text them tomorrow.
Bye. They know I left. They saw me when I left.
Look, I am good at disappearing. I'll be like, I'll be there 1 minute and just be gone. My wife be like, where'd he go? I'm like, I left.
So sometimes you have to not be present.
I don't need all that handshake and go find everybody a handshake, hug. It's like, nah. When I say I'm gone.
I mean, only
there's a few people. Like, let's say,
only like 4 people at this function anyway. I like 4 people, 5 people, including you. So why would it take me more than 5 minutes to be like I'm out? No,
you know, no. my grandma, my mother-in-law, and like the other 2 choice people. Other than that, I ain't got to tell nobody about it.
You're talking about at a family function. I was just talking about out and about. Good God.
Or even at that, the person that invited me, my wife's best friend. That's it.
Yeah. That's funny. That's funny to me. Working on them inside jokes, man. You're looking at each other, like people would say something, we look at each other, and we know exactly what we're laughing at. And everybody's laughing because they think we're all laughing at the same thing, and we're completely not. Love it. Absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. Anyhow. All right. We got 6 minutes. We got 5 minutes. You want to get your political discourse in before we let our Carolina Storm audience go?
Let's do
you don't. You want to let them go before
we're gonna need the rest of the time
we need the whole rest of the time.
The whole rest of the time.
Okay.
For the Carolina Storm listeners, but what you watching this week, Steve?
Yeah. What am I? Oh man, I'm trying to finish The Residents.
Okay.
I can't wait for The Pitt.
Okay.
Hour 13 was a great hour television. Hour 14. I mean, I hope it's better. Even if it's as good as the last hour, I'm fine. Like those are the two things that are on my radar at the moment. So, and I'm rewatching Invincible with my wife because she didn't see it. I like watched it without her. I was in the doghouse for it, but I recently got out, so I'm watching it with her again.
Yeah, I am. I'm about that close from watching Invincible and just binge watching it. I'm just waiting. I don't know what I'm
the
waiting.
Residence is good.
I don't know what I'm waiting on. But
you know what you I mean, you know what you could do? How many Amazon profiles you got?
I don't know. So I have Plex. I could go on Amazon and watch it, but I'm sure somebody on Plex has it all. So I just turn it on.
No, what I was gonna say is just watch it on a different profile.
Well, I mean, nobody knows. I mean, yeah, I could, but nobody has like a profile on Amazon like that because I'm still. Well, no, yeah, nobody has a profile except for me, so I can do it. Nobody's gonna say anything.
Okay, all right. I was just saying, you know, watching it on a secondary profile are ways that you can watch what you need to watch without your spouse knowing. How did I find that out? Because somebody watched something that we were supposed to be watching together on a different profile, and I could tell that they had watched it already. You know how you watch a show already and you try not to give away the plot points and stuff, but you're not looking at the screen, you really in your phone and not listening. Yeah, I be knowing. I be knowing. Or I am aware.
No, my wife has. So my wife has this unique ability when we're watching new movies that both of us have never seen. She asks the exact question. She asks the exact question. Yeah, no. She asks the exact questions that they're going to answer.
Oh.
And she asked me these questions, and I'm like, I'm watching this movie for the first time, just like you. I'm pretty sure they're going to tell us in this movie or in this show. If you just give it like 5 to 10 more minutes, or even an hour and 30 minutes, you're going to find out by the end of it. If you knew if you knew the answer to the question that you're asking right now, you probably wouldn't watch the movie.
Dominique, you are first level tech support for all knowledge for your wife.
I know.
You need to embrace it.
I know.
It's not changing. It's not going anywhere.
I know.
Like my wife asks me something, I'll be like,
Yeah. No, at this point, when she asked me, I just give her a look like, and she understands. She's like, oh, okay. I'm like,
okay. So the funny part is, I don't know about you, but I have to balance the line between giving my kids an answer and making them go to find it themselves.
Yeah.
Right. Because the expectation is I have the answer. And normally I have an answer, even if it's not the answer.
Right.
But I need for you to stop coming to me for stuff that you could Google. Google it first and then ask me after that. Because what I don't need is for you not to be able to get in contact with me, and now you can't find an answer because you haven't become familiar with or comfortable with Googling the stuff. Yes.
These things are more powerful than the computers that they sent the first man to the moon with.
Dominic, I tell them all the time, you have the entire world worth of an encyclopedia in your hand. You have more knowledge accessible to you than any man that has ever lived, going backwards in history ever.
Like, why are you asking me the temperature of the sun?
Because you're supposed to know.
Or how far away it is. Yes, I know it's 93 million miles away. But you have these devices that will tell you. We have Alexas all over the house that you can ask.
For those of you that don't know, Dominique has Alexas and drones in his house. Don't ask me.
I do not have drones. I have Alexa.
Did you
I have
wait?
Google,
Hold on.
And I have Siri.
No. Did you take back the drones?
I never had. Wait, which drones?
Exactly. The fact that you got to be like, which drones lets us all know.
Wait, which drones? You got to be specific.
You got to be specific. This man there's so many levels of drones that he don't even remember which one he has in his house.
The only drone I have in the house is the Mavic Pro. That's it.
Okay. So you do have a drone in your house.
I have a drone. I do not have the one that flies around my house to make sure my house is safe.
No. You have a drone in your house.
Correct.
Okay. Now you don't have the one that is like a sentry that flies around your house and takes pictures and video of everything. You have the one that is stationary and does that. Okay. Yes, drones in his house. Man, my friends, all of my friends have resources of which I know not of. Like, anyhow, I have a. Oh, look at Whiskey.
So
is that the drone? Is it the drone looking at him?
No, that's Whiskey's new crate, which is like massive now, and it's big enough that I was able to put like a Wise camera in it, so I can just keep watching.
There's a Wise camera in his dog's crate.
It's called Whiskey Cam.
Hey, what purpose does the drone serve in the house? It serves to remind Dominique. I'm not gonna say that. 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 And Dominique knows exactly what I was gonna say. He knows exactly what I was gonna say. It's a security it's a security feed in his home that he uses to secure his home. That's what the drone does in his house. Okay. So
that's what it could do in the house. Yes.
What does it do, Dominique?
Oh, I just don't want to. I wouldn't suggest anybody to FAPO. I just realized what that meant the other day.
It took you that.
Yes.
Put a pin in that. So you got a drone in your house that don't do nothing?
I didn't say that.
Please clarify for the viewing audience.
No. Like I said, the only drone I have in my house is the DJI Mavic Pro, which is a remote control drone that you go outside and you fly. You can take pictures, do video, things of that nature. And I normally use it for my my YouTube channel, 9 Media. If you guys want to take a look at some of that stuff, it's still there. But yeah, that's the only drone I have in my house. But Ring came out with a drone that is you could put like in a central location, and it would literally on a certain interval fly around your house and just make sure there aren't any intruders or so on and so forth.
Skynet.
Pretty much. And it does it with such precision that it can go upstairs, downstairs, in different rooms, so on and so forth, and then return itself back to the starting point, and so it can charge.
I'm gonna pass on that one.
Yeah, that was extremely far-fetched even for me. I was just like, nope, not gonna do it.
Program wrap. Okay, we're gonna say bye-bye to our Carolina Storm audience. I don't know where I'm gonna find the 3 minutes necessary to cut so we can get. Well, actually, I have an idea where I'm gonna cut it. But thank you for the Carolina Storm audience for watching. We will see you next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. To everybody else, we got some soapbox moments. Now that we are in the overtime mode, Dominique, go ahead with the soapbox moment. I know you got one.
So if you guys are not aware, within the last 6 hours, it was brought to everyone's attention that Mike Waltz, our director of national security advisor, was using Gmail to communicate classified intelligence. And so
wait. Do we know to whom he was?
No, it's just him and his team were using Gmail to communicate classified information, or it could be CUI, which is some unclassified information. But basically, it just hasn't been classified yet. It's been yet to be classified, and it's that gray area. But either at that gray area should not be communicated in such a way that is accessible or susceptible to being intercepted by people who shouldn't know.
Okay, so I gotta get some of my friends that have security clearances to come on and explain to the people what the process of getting one is, what it means when you have one, and things that you can or cannot do, and the things that you need to be prepared for. At some particular point in time in the near future, we hope to do that, right?
Here's the thing, though. We are not surprised, but it's just amazing.
I'm surprised, bro. Gmail.
I'm not surprised. And if you really want to put this against something, everybody who had something to say about Hillary Clinton's emails, That was a custom server with a custom domain with custom security.
Yes.
So these aren't apples to apples.
Dominic, he probably doesn't even have two-factor authentication set up on his Gmail. He's got a regular password.
And like I said, this is the United States National Security Advisor. This is coming off the heels of this being the same man of Signalgate. Of Signalgate. How, Sway? Like, how much? Like, we talked about it last week. How incompetent can you be? But then also at this point, you're even more incompetent than what we even thought. This show is never going to end.
No, it's not going to end. It's just going to get progressively worse. I don't know how I got green light for as long as it got greenlit for, but clearly someone needs to cancel it.
And on top of that, Mike Waltz just got into good graces. Well, not even just got into good graces, but just smoothed over the Signalgate issue. And Trump said because from what I understand, Trump was going to fire him. The other reason why I don't believe that is because Trump still needs a yes man. By him screwing up like this, he will always be a yes man to Trump. Now that he's given him quote unquote grace.
I don't think he was going to fire him.
But that was after the first offense. But now after the second offense, you have to consider it.
Well, the thought was that he was going to fire him, right? If he's going to fire him, then he should have fired him.
Right.
And truth be told, him being in that position means Trump already has something on him. So having something on him is a moot point, right? But there's so much to be upset about, and that's just one of them. Like, I hear my friends talk about their security clearance and what they had to do to get it, what they have to do to keep it, and all that good stuff. And they are like, they hear some of this stuff, they're really upset, and I'm like,
this is a breach of national security. But you can be charged with treason for this.
Now, if the attorney general, if there was actually an acting attorney general, then yes, you would be. But seeing as how Pam Bondi is trying to federally prosecute people that protest at Tesla dealerships, we know we are in the in-between zone at the moment.
Yeah, like you're willing to spend taxpayer dollars trying to make sure people don't bomb Tesla or protest and deface Tesla.
Well, I mean, of all the things that you could be doing, protecting Tesla property is not really a federal situation, but
it's not.
That's just me. That's just me. That's just me. So
yeah, this is just like I said, this is not. At this point, you can't tell me that these guys possibly can't be funneling stuff to Russia. I don't understand.
What do you mean funneling? They don't even have to funnel it. They're so insecure from a security standpoint. I mean,
like, I put it like this: my job has more security than this because I can't even hit Gmail from my work computer. And you mean to tell me your national security advisor is able to freely use Gmail?
Okay, so many questions. Were there not any other options? Dude, you're the national security advisor. Why are you even sending an actual email? Don't you have assistants for that?
It's true too. Most people at that level, they have somebody that has access to their mailbox that will send on their behalf.
Has access to their government provided secure email apparatus to communicate.
Now, I was watching a video and it's from Meet Kevin. He's pretty neutral. He tries to stay very neutral to most situations. And one of the things he was saying is like, it's possible that the reason why they decided to do that was because they didn't want to have to keep going through the two-factor authentication that their servers the secure servers would challenge you on.
You don't want to do the thing that keeps the information secure, so you're going to take the information that needs to be secure and use it in an unsecure manner on an unsecure server on a publicly available You know what?
So yeah, so these guys in my book will always be forever labeled DEI hires.
You know
because they have no qualifications to actually be there, and they're attempting to circumvent the security protocols that are in place to keep them safe. Because the other thing is, if you're acting in a government capacity, one of the things the government has the power to do for review, not just like review in 3 years or so, but like review in 20 years, depending on what the situation is, they're able to go back and see what transpired. But it's clear that this government is trying to purposely hide stuff.
Yeah, that's why they use Signal. They are trying to avoid a Freedom of Information Act request. Yes.
But these are the same people that complained that when the left was...
Don't do it.
They complained that the left was trying to stifle free speech, and now they're turning around. You're an elected government official. Well, some people are elected government officials, but you're working in the capacity of the government. You have to use the channels that are there. You are not above the security protocols that are put in place for the government. You have to adhere to those. You have to.
They don't care for your rules, Dominique. I do apologize.
That's fine.
Let me tell you how much they don't care for your rules. Since you mentioned government officials using their authority, you know what Marco Rubio is doing right now? From your soapbox to mine. He's revoking student visas and revoking permanent visas so that people that are protesting, so that they can be detained and deported.
But
let's try it another way.
Okay.
You want to come to America? You want to go to USC? You want to go to MIT? You want to go to Columbia? You get a student visa. You go through all of the necessary paperwork. You pay all the necessary whatever to get your visa approved. You get to Columbia, you're on campus, you're protesting whatever you're protesting. Let's say, for instance, you're protesting the fact that Israel is bombing civilians in Gaza. If you have been identified, Marco Rubio has said that he is not above revoking those student visas and then forcibly detaining and exporting and deporting you.
I mean, exporting it. That fits too.
That is scary, but that alone is not as scary as what I'm about to say. I'm trying to find a second source for a story that came across social media. I checked Snopes. Snopes did not say it was false. I checked the New York Post. I checked the Daily Beast. They all are referencing the same article, right? So I don't have a secondary source other than these three media outlets that have not ruled it as a falsehood. A woman, her grandchild, and her son were in Minnesota in a mall, speak as American citizens, but they were speaking Spanish. The story says that they were detained and taken to a detention center simply for speaking Spanish.
That's racist.
No criminal record, no immigration, anything. They are actually citizens, like born here citizens, like completely naturalized citizens, like have done everything correct. No criminal record. They were taken to a detention facility and they were released after they were able to prove that they were American citizens.
How?
Now, I don't know about you, but that's the scariest thing I've heard so far. Let me tell you why.
But you know the bad part about that?
What?
They knew they were American citizens before they even did that.
Maybe they did, maybe they didn't.
No, you knew. You had to know.
Well, okay, so here's the thing. It's like probable cause, right? This whole deportation thing has such a gray area that, to me, it's scary. Let me tell you how scary it is. I got my children a real ID.
Yeah.
I got all three of my children a real ID. Because in Texas, to get a real ID,
National Security Advisor Mike Wall.
You have to have a copy of your birth certificate.
Yep.
You have to have you have to actually have a stamped birth certificate. You have to have actually your social security card, and all has to be verified at the DMV for you to get either a driver's license or state issued ID. And I did that because I did not want there ever to be a question as to whether or not my children were citizens.
Right.
Because my fear would be my children who they look black, yeah. But my boys with twists and dreads could be considered something other than African American black, which means if someone thought they were detainable, they could detain them. And if I were unaware, if I were not able to get them the correct documents without a real idea, quite possibly detain them and begin the process of deportation, right? Simply because they look like they may not be American.
But and that's the sad part. The fact that you have to do all that because you're afraid that just their look alone could possibly get them deported before they even decide to check.
Like I got the ID because, and I told they memorized their ID number.
Yep.
So that in the event they're asked
30612.
Yes, this is my state ID number. You pull the state ID number, and now I don't get deported. It may take them a couple hours, right? And I've told my kids, if you get detained, it's going to take me about 24 hours to get you out. That's just what it is. Just know it's going to take me about 24 hours to get you out. But with the state ID and all of that, the purpose is to make it so that without a shadow of a doubt, they're American citizens, so that they do not get deported. Because if you read anything about the stories of people that have been deported, whether they were deported for a reason, like they had crimes, or whether they were deported just because of whatever reason, they don't come. You don't come back.
Yeah.
Like if they deport you and they were incorrect, they don't bring you back. You're wherever you are, and you have to find your way back or get someone to pay your way back, assuming you can get back in with your current status. And to me, that's scary, especially for where they're sending people. Like if I was an adult Hispanic male, man, I'd be in a sanctuary city. You want to know why? Because if they deport you to, say, I don't know, El Salvador or Venezuela, they're deporting you to like a supermax prison, whether you've done anything or not. And if they deem that you haven't done anything, they're not going to let you just walk the streets of the country that you were deported to. Even if after they let you out of the supermax, they put you in a halfway house until you can find a way to get back. It's so messed up, man.
You know what else is messed up? So I read a report and I saw a little bit of a video of a clip of Caroline Leavitt, the press secretary. She was asked to defend. Somebody asked her a question because they found out that based on certain documents that the White House has put together on how they deem or their system for deporting certain people. Essentially, it's a point system. If they see a tattoo, it's 6 points. And once you get over like 8 to 12 points, you're getting deported.
You know what people are not understanding, which is the basis of my concern and anger. That entire point system has been created, has been enacted, and it's functional. And it has replaced what we know to be due process.
Correct. And that's the part. And that's the other part. They're not going through due process. It's how they deportations for gang members is how they classify gang members.
And the scary part is, and what people don't like to talk about or don't want to admit, if there's no due process for illegal aliens, for undocumented peoples, if they could suspend due process anytime they want under the guise of a reason, then the only thing between us and the government acting unlawfully is a reason that they can sell to the public. And clearly, Trump can sell anything to the public. He made people believe that in Toledo, Ohio, they were eating cats and dogs.
They were eating cats and dogs.
When everybody from Toledo was like, the Jamaicans don't. The Chinese people might, but the Jamaicans don't. And everybody was just like, well, we're not going to listen to you. We're going to listen to him.
Yeah. And it's amazing. It's amazing that people, and this is one of the things that, my friend that I had this debate with a few weeks ago, it's like, dude, everything that you're spitting are headlines that I've seen too. But at no point did you click on those headlines or compare and contrast them with other sources to corroborate whether they're true or relatively, moderate or so on and so forth. Like, you're not seeing whether it's factual or not. You're just going off of what Trump says. We all know he's not a good businessman. Why do you think that would change with him being president? Why would you think that with him in his second term, he's going to do things right? And then also on top of that, I sent him a message today. I was like, dude, like with this whole Mike Waltz thing, I was like, hey man, please defend your president's, the actions of your party right now, because you can't. Your national security advisor, and it's like he's in the military, which is what's crazy to me, because I'm like, dude, you know that this is horrible, but you won't say it. And I'm not saying this isn't Democrat versus Republican. I'm saying as a person, if I voted one way and the person that I voted for turned into a complete butthole and did everything that is doing things that he never even campaigned on, saying one thing but doing the opposite, I would personally be like, you know what? Hey, that's my bad. I believed him based on blah, 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 whatever the reason was. That's my bad. I'd be willing to do that.
But Dominique, your vote wasn't solely, I'm sorry, but your vote was about ideas, right? Your vote was about policy and how it would affect everyone, not just you, but everyone.
Right.
That's what your vote was for. A lot of people that voted for Trump, their vote was not for how will this affect everyone. How a lot of them was, how will it affect me?
Yeah,
and how will it affect how I feel? Regardless, it's separate from the facts. How, like, I feel this way about where the country is, regardless of whether it's substantiated or not, regardless of whether it's based in fact or not. This is how I feel about where the country is and what I believe that he can do. Regardless of the fact that he didn't have a plan outside of 2025, Project 2025, that he didn't provide any new or novel ideas. He didn't make any promises that anyone near the campaign even echoed that he was going to keep, other than intimating very clearly in his words and his actions and the plans that he did provide, that he was going to protect whiteness.
Oh, 100%.
And rich people, right?
100%.
More so rich people than white people. But he made them believe he was going to protect white people as much as he was going to be protecting rich people. And that is not the case.
So here is,
oh God,
here's the image I want everybody to see. The reason why I want you to see this is because to all the Republicans that had something to say about Zelensky not being in proper attire, one, we have documents, we have pictures where Elon's not in proper attire being in the Oval Office. And now we have Kid Rock. I don't care who he is, what he is, but you cannot say that. You can't say what you say about Zelensky without saying the same thing about Elon Musk or Kid Rock. You cannot. Absolutely not. Don't.
Attempting to apply the rules that they tell you is the reason why they do things to Republicans is a fool's errand. unfortunately dominate. I don't even spend any more time on it. You want to know why? Because they don't care. The rules are irrelevant to them unless they can use them.
But then also, everybody that said that you voted for Trump because he was going to end the Ukraine-Russia war before he got in office, or he was going to stand up to them, and why didn't Zelensky just sign the agreement? We would have peace by now.
Based on what? Because Trump said it?
Right.
If that's the reason why you were willing to believe that, you were already at a loss.
Putin's gearing up for war. He doesn't want to talk to Trump right now. The negotiations are off.
We don't know. Here's the thing. Vladimir Putin is a former intelligence officer. Donald Trump is a failed businessman. One of those men is smarter than the other person. And the one that's smarter is playing a game. The one that is not as smart has been losing for the last 12 years, give or take. Well, 10 years. And we are all suffering because of it.
One thing I learned this week, and like I said, since this whole political cycle has begun, I've been learning quite a bit. So one of the things I've learned this week is the EU. Well, there's this new coalition or group. It's called CRINC. It is China, Russia, Iran, and somebody with a K. North Korea and K. It spells CRINC, which is really weird. And essentially, those countries, they have the combined GDP of the EU. And that is interesting because there's some agreements that's being worked out possibly, as well as, some trade stuff and so on and so forth. And with the U.S. already backing out and backing out of a lot of agreements that we currently had to keep peace, or at least just have a toe in the water, just so that nobody steps out of line, essentially, we're their enforcer. If these deals happen, we get iced out as a country, as a superpower. We will not be a superpower anymore. Yeah, they still probably won't come here and fight, but it's a problem because now you're talking about free trade, which means, and all these tariffs that go into effect tomorrow, which they're already planning for the GDP, our GDP to drop.
Do you actually think those tariffs are going into effect?
From what I understand, probably not, because he's been threatening and pulling them back. But also at the same time, if the EU's done with us and they start making these deals with CRINC, we're iced out. We're getting iced out, and it's not going to be pretty.
I recently asked a friend who knows more about history than I do, that knows more about the military and foreign policy than I do, what to make of Canada's statement that it was moving closer to, in relations, the European Union. Was this just a reaction, or was it a pivot? He said it was a pivot. To me, that's scary.
It's extremely scary.
Because all of the diplomatic and all of the economic ties that we have had with Canada, if they're pivoting to pivoting to the European Union, if they're pivoting to the EU, that means that the money that they would spend in America, because of those diplomatic and economic ties, they're no longer going to be spending in America over the next decade, right? Like, because you're not going to pivot to the EU and then just all of a sudden just pivot back to America. That's not how that works.
Yeah, that's a good, 50 to 100 year deal.
Yeah, well, it takes time to make that pivot and for those economic levers to be pulled and affect,
right,
like regular people. But in about 2 years, we're going to start to see it. And that's, summarily bad.
This is not even the first 6 months, people.
Yeah, like it's so unbelievably bad that, you know what, man. I don't I don't want to be a Debbie Downer anymore. So yeah,
That's fair.
so we did the visas, we did the inside jokes, we did the 1 million or a billion. I said I'd take the coin flip. You said you take the $1 million. Yep. And yeah, we shouted out Cory and Paige and the concrete rims on the Cybertruck. We did all of that. We sent thoughts and prayers to Myanmar. We talked about Marvin Sapp.
Close the doors.
Close the doors. In Minnesota, the Republican representative ran, but the Supreme Court of Minnesota Supreme Court, the liberal won the justice, which is great because now Minnesota can't be gerrymandered in the way that the Republican state Senate or House, I don't know which one it is, wants to do, which is amazing because that means that we're not going to get screwed out of seats in the next in the midterm election.
That's good.
So that's great. And we didn't talk about it today, but apparently via synthetic aperture radar, there are columns underneath the pyramid. And we don't know what they are. We don't even know if it's real. I was trying to look into it because I put it on the notes and start looking into it. Minnesota or Wisconsin. It was, hold on, I tell you for a fact, it was Wisconsin. Sorry, I said Minnesota, I meant Wisconsin. Liberals win majority of the Wisconsin Supreme Court. We needed that. Very important. Also, the pyramid discovery, the more you dig into it, the more you find out that it's kind of early to be talking about the discovery like it's an actual discovery, because the report that goes along with the discovery had not been peer reviewed when they took it to the conference and they told the world. So right now, we don't even really know if the conclusions that they came to about the shape of the cylinders underneath the pyramids is a thing. Although we do know that there is something underneath the pyramids, we just have no idea what. Either way it goes, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's and I have been there, and the pyramids sit up on a bigger hill than the Great Sphinx. The Great Sphinx is like right behind it, and it's interesting because I'm trying to get this here before. There we go, and share this tab instead. Yeah, so yeah, it was very interesting to be there, and yeah, like I said, it's on a bigger hill. So let's put it this way: I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised if there is something there. But I mean, because that's been the topic of discussion for quite some time is how do they build the pyramids, and because it's geometrically perfect, and that's the thing about it. It's geometrically perfect. They had these large, giant bricks that they essentially built the thing out of, but then also had internal structures that are supported and pretty strong. And so it's like, why is it my camera doesn't want me to be great? All right.
In fairness, for almost the entirety of the earth prior to Rome ransacking Alexandria, Egypt was the location of all the knowledge on the face of the planet. So, correct. And I was talking with my dad the other day, and he was like, you do realize that there wasn't sprawling desert in Egypt then like it is now.
Right.
So like that's the thing, right?
Because the fact that there's so much sand shows that there's probably like a large body of water or
well, there used to be, right? The Nile coming down in the way that it is rumored that they used a hydraulic system based off of the current of the Nile during different seasons of rain to lift the bricks, these 2-ton bricks, as they say. It's one of the theories, and there are others as well. But the fact of the matter is, Egypt, Alexandria, that was the place of the knowledge of the world, right?
Birth and sundials and everything. Yeah. Like, I mean, you're talking about a very advanced civilization for the time, and like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if there is something there, and because that was rumored that it's to harness energy.
Dude, I was reading somewhere. I saw a clip, and it referenced the book, and I pulled up PDFs for the book. that was an account of second-story bathrooms in Africa back in the late 1200s.
Mm-hmm.
Second-story bathrooms, like commodes, bathroom, sewer system,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah, sewers.
Like back in the like late 1300s.
Yeah, it's big.
So to say that, yeah, and this is when I was talking to my wife the other day. I was like, this is when Europeans were, pooping in pails and throwing it out of their window onto the street.
Yep.
Right.
Savages.
Yeah, Democratic candidate for Wisconsin Supreme Court, Susan Crawford, won tonight. Needed that.
Hey.
That's big. That's really big. But yeah, so we do not know, partly because the world has tried to make us believe that Egypt in and of itself, especially when it was browner than it is now, did not have advanced technology and advanced mathematics and advanced capabilities, when clearly it had to have something.
It had to have something. I mean, you were talking about the Fertile Crescent. Come on now, let's.
Yeah, had to have something. So, but anyhow, all right. You got anything else that you want to grace the people with before we let them go, Dominique?
Hey, people, I just want you to understand that, I'm not advocating for left or right. I'm just looking at the facts and criticizing the way that I see it. If this was any other presidency or whatnot, I'd have the same criticisms. I'm not biased to either one. I really don't care for either one. I think that whole system needs to be torn down. But yeah, just do your research. One of the things that I look at Fox News, I look at MSNBC, I look at CNN. I also look at Straight Arrow News, which is a website that is pretty unbiased, and tells you which side is reporting more of something versus less of it. So you start to see the graph and seeing what's not being reported and what is being reported. So definitely want you guys to, take a look at that and try to stay up on what you can. Information, knowledge is power.
Very much so. We want to thank you guys for watching. Thank you for hanging out with us, for listening to us in our soapbox moments, for interacting with us. I want to thank my family and friends. Make sure to like and subscribe. And you can send this to someone if you want to, if you think they're going to laugh, or if you think they're going to have terse words and would like to put that in the chat as well. That's great. That works for me. The fact that Susan Crawford won lets us know that it's going to be a blue wave come midterms, but until then, we got to work it out ourselves. Aside from that,
if you guys are, like I said, if you guys are looking for a church home and haven't found it yet, and can't necessarily get here to Charlotte, North Carolina to be a part of it, take a look at Resemble Church. I think you guys will definitely enjoy that. We have a mission to find freedom, develop disciples, and live on mission. And definitely want you guys to be a part if you can, and let us know.
Look, and keep in mind that Dominique works the camera, so if the angles are off,
please tell me.
He's the one that you yell at. He's the one that you send the messages.
Please tell me. Look, I
Dominique, yo, you need to turn his treble up, because I can't really hear him that well. Yeah, thank you guys for watching. Definitely check out the links that are in the show notes, in the descriptions for Resemble Church and for the other things that we've got going on. Take time to look up Nine Dime Media. He has some really good reviews on the electric cars that he's driven, and just general reviews about Tesla. Not my cup of tea, but Dominic has the information. He actually knows what he's talking about. So take a look at that.
Sometimes you gotta separate the person from the product, guys. That's all.
Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. That's why I don't listen to R. Kelly anymore. Jason, we miss you.
Trini man. But you know what? He's having fun. He ain't even thinking about us having a good time in Disney.
Not thinking about us at all. But we'll see. Jason will be back prayerfully next week. We will be here next week. And again, thank you guys for watching. 11:55 Feel the High. We'll catch you next week.
Laters.